Hello and welcome back to Overbooked. I'm Amanda and today I'm going to be going over my Asian Readathon TBR. So May is Asian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, so the great Read with Cindy put together this Asian Readathon, and I think this is like year 2 or 3 of her putting this together. And if you guys haven't checked out Read with Cindy, I definitely recommend it, and I'll link her channel below. She's hilarious. She always asks people to unsubscribe, but I'm telling you that you should subscribe. So Cindy put together a list of prompts to read for the Asian Readathon, and I'm gonna go through them and list what I am planning on reading for those prompts. So let's just dive in. I'll put the prompts below. I'll link Read with Cindy's YouTube channel. I'm gonna link the Asian Readathon Twitter page, because I always find that helpful to, follow these readathons on Twitter, just kind of see whatever other people are doing and what the readathon creator is doing or talking about, just kind of cool information stuff on there. I think that's kind of it. I'll probably link some other stuff below, but who knows? So the first prompt is read any book by an Asian author. So I'm gonna go with Miracle Creek by Angie Kim. So Miracle Creek is a book that actually has been on my radar for a while, and I'm trying to, I have my Goodreads pulled up. Okay, yeah, it was published last year in 2019. So it's been on my radar, it's been on my TBR, and I've always wanted to pick it up, but I've always just been pushing it off. And I am glad that this readathon is prompting me to go forth and pick it up. So I'm really excited about that. This book is featuring a legal drama, thriller, mystery, contemporary book. The book takes place in a small town in Virginia where a group of people are taking part in special treatments to cure a variety of mental conditions or illnesses, and when the chamber explodes and 2 people die, the book has to deal with the investigation and aftermath of this occurrence. And what's actually really interesting about this book is, so I think I've mentioned this podcast before, but the Stacks podcast did a episode on this book, and the author used to be a lawyer, or she is a lawyer. Yes, so she used to be a trial lawyer, and so a lot of the insight that she had from her previous career helped a lot in writing this book, and you get a lot of accurate descriptions of what would happen in a case. So I'm just really excited to read that, because that's going to be such a really cool, interesting perspective given to the book. So, woo! Okay, so the next prompt is to read a book featuring an Asian character or written by an Asian author who you can relate to. So the book that I chose was The Kiss Quotient by Helen Wong, and I think I'm stretching it here on relating to this character or author. My reasoning is I really wanted to fit this book into this readathon, and I've been wanting to read this book for a while, and all my other books are so kind of depressing, and I really just wanted a really light read to be included. But I will say, okay, well I'll take you through the scenes here. So The Kiss Quotient centers around the main character, Sally Lane, who loves math and thinks that it is the center of the universe and unites everything. And she has a job that pays her enough money, which she doesn't really know what to do with. But she also doesn't have a ton of dating experience that an average 30-year-old would have. On top of that, she has Asperger's, which makes it difficult to find a match and makes dating even more difficult. So her solution is to hire a escort, because she thinks that she needs a lot of help, professional help. And so her escort, Michael, is going to assist her in all of these, lovely things like French kissing and intimate acts of who knows what. And, you just gotta find out how the relationship goes from there, which I'm curious to see. I think that I can relate to Stella because I am a female, and I am also a straight female, which it seems that Stella is. Both of those things. And I also feel that we have all gone through times in our life where we don't feel like we know exactly what we're doing in the dating world or romantic world. I've been dating my fiance for 6 years, and sometimes I'm I'm convinced that I'm a terrible kisser, and I'll be like, oh my God, do you even like me? So, we all go through these things, right? Or is it just me? But, I think that we all go through times of like uncertainty on how to handle romantic situations or intimate situations. I think makes a lot of people feel vulnerable and uneasy. So I think that I can relate to her in that way. Next prompt is read a book featuring an Asian character or written by an Asian author who is different from you. The book that I picked for this is The Mountains Sing by Nan Fang Kuma. I think I'm kind of pronouncing that correctly. I tried to look up the pronunciation of her name before doing this video. So the Mountains Sing is a multi-generational story showing the family going through the Vietnam War. So it starts in the 1920s with one of the characters fleeing their family farm because of tragedy and war, and then it shows, you know, jumps in time, and it shows one of the characters watching another of her family members go off to war during the Vietnam War. I think that this is going to be a really sweeping tale, and I really love multi-generational stories. I think it's really fascinating to see the ripple effects of actions made by family members in the beginning and then how that affects the family members at the end. I just think that's really fascinating, and I think it would be fascinating to see that in your own life, but that's why it's really cool to see these multi-generational stories, presenting these to us. And I cannot relate to almost everything that's going on in this book because I've never fled a war-torn country. I've never had to watch family members go to war. I've never had to flee my farm or my home, and I have never had to just deal with that much trauma and tragedy. So I think that this is a perfect fit. I don't relate to a lot of things going on, and I'm really curious though to see, as I start reading, maybe some of the ways I can relate to some of the characters. So I think that'll be really cool. I'm really excited to read this book, and it just sounds really fascinating, and I don't know a lot about the Vietnam War, and I'm just really intrigued, and this is not kind of related at all, but I did read The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna last month, or this past month. The Great Alone has a character that suffers from PTSD from the Vietnam War, and I got a little taste of that, and I really wanted to learn more about that time period, I guess. And I think this is going to be a really great book to read because I think there are a lot of materials about the Vietnam War that come from the American perspective, and I don't think we get a lot of perspectives from the Vietnamese. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm just really excited to dive into this book. And so the last prompt is read a book recommended by an Asian, and I'm going to pick The Leavers by Lisa Ko. I actually recently found this book through another booktuber, and her name is Muhan Rouge, and I really enjoy her content. I recently just found her, and she does really cool covers of songs and that are really good. She has a cover of a song that's Say So and then Say My Name, like a mashup. Brilliant. Anyways, she recently did a video on all the books by Asian authors that she read in 2019, and I watched that, and she talks about the book The Leavers, and I just was really interested in that book that she talked about, and she rated it very highly, so I'm taking that as a recommendation to read, and I am going with it. So, Muhan, I hope you don't mind, but I'm taking it as a recommendation and rolling with it, because it does sound like a fascinating book. So The Leaver details the story of a young boy and his mother, and one day his mother goes to work and never returns, and no one can find her. So what happens to this young boy is he is adopted by an American family and is given a Americanized name and is like raised to be like this all-American boy. So he has to kind of reconcile this new life and the disappearance of his mother, and the book just kind of takes us through this whole journey, and I'm really curious to see how that goes and what the story has to tell and teach us. So I'm very excited about that. So those are the books that I'm reading, and then there is a bonus prompt or optional prompt that you can take a part in, and they are doing a read along with Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste, and I have read that actually twice, so I'm gonna pass on reading it this time. And then also after they finish reading it, they are going to do a watch along with Little Fires Everywhere on Hulu, which I actually have just finished watch it. So it's gonna be, I'm really curious to see what Read with Cindy's opinion is gonna be on Little Fires. I honestly, in my honest opinion, I did not enjoy the show's depiction of the book. Like, I didn't think that the book and the show really aligned well, and I don't like how they took the characters. So for me, I didn't enjoy it, but this is also very weird and confusing, but what I ended up doing was I removed the book from my thoughts while watching, and I enjoyed the show. Like, I think the show on its own, separate from the book, is really good and really well done. And I will say I liked the show's ending, and that's all I'm going to say for now. I'm thinking, I did a Hulu, a reaction to Little Fires Everywhere video after the first 3 episodes were released, and I'm thinking about doing another reaction video after the whole thing is out, but I feel like I would have to include spoilers because there's things I just need to get off my chest. Who knows if that video will come, whatever. So, but anyways, I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited to hear everyone's thoughts on Little Fires and the show, and I think it's gonna be really interesting because you don't get to really see, I've seen a lot of thoughts on the show with people who have not read the book, so just really jazzed to hear everyone's thoughts on that. And then also, I will link below, Read with Cindy has this huge like Google Doc full of book suggestions and books by Asian authors, puts them in categories on like where in Asia they're from, and I just thought that was really cool, and that probably took a lot of work to put into. So if you guys need suggestions or are looking for inspiration, I definitely suggest that you look into that. And looking at that Google Doc, it actually reminded me of the book Miracle Creek. It was helpful for me, so definitely take a look if you are looking for inspiration. This concludes my Asian Readathon TBR. I am so excited to get into these books. There's so many diverse stories in here, different topics looked at in different time periods, and I'm just so thrilled to start reading. So I'm really excited. Thank you, Read with Cindy, for putting together this readathon. Shout out to these people who do that, because I think that these take a lot of work to put together and to maintain and keep going throughout the entire month. So seriously, shout out. Thanks for putting together these really fun and engaging readathons. So anyways, linking a lot of stuff below, question prompts are below. Let me know if you guys are taking part in the Asian Readathon and what you're reading. I would love to hear that. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next time.